What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be discussing about CLOAK is now dead, i.e. shadowy disguise in 2025 for the Elder Scrolls Online. So we're going to break down why it's dead, why it's no longer really useful, particularly for ganking in this video, and what you can use as an alternative, and why it's just much better to just not slot this whole thing completely. So I'm going to break it down for you guys, what you can slot instead, and alternatives, and I've been having plenty of success without even using shadowy disguise for ganking. So we'll get straight into it. So these is the shadowy disguise and the skill line, the shadow line of the Nightblade. So we'll look at the passives first. We've got refreshing shadows, which again is just recovery. So the whole point with a gank is to maximize damage as much as possible, and the shadow line of the Nightblade doesn't really provide any damage at all whatsoever. So like I said, the refreshing shadows just gives you recovery. The shadow barrier just gives you major resolve, which again isn't really needed for ganking. And dark vigor, max health, it's nice, but again not really needed. And the dark veil increases the duration of non-invisibility based shadow abilities by 2 seconds. So again, it doesn't affect shadowy disguise. With shadowy disguise, it has been nerfed a few times. It now drains the magicka. You don't have to spam it like you used to. Every 3 seconds you'd have to recast this. But now, to be honest, it drains the magicka so much, it's quite a nuisance to run. And also you get a bonus damage for monsters, but again in PvP this is useless. Major Prophecy and Savagery again is nice, but again can be easily sourced from other skills. So this is why moving forwards in 2025, most of my gank builds are probably not going to be running Shadowy Disguise, as it's just no longer required. And with the release of subclassing, you can mix and match different skill lines to boost the damage much further. And at first I didn't want to drop this, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to work. But all my ganking builds are moving forwards without Shadowy Disguise have been working. So we're going to get into what skill lines you should actually be running to maximize your damage for ganking. So of course we've got the Assassination skill line, which is already a Nightblade skill line. So the Master Assassin is going to increase your critical chance against enemies you are flanking. So again, ideal for ganking. And the Executioner, when an enemy dies within 2 seconds of being damaged, you restore magicka and stamina, which is nice. And then you've got the Pressure Points, which increases your critical chance for each ability slotted. So this is again very good. And then the Hemorrhage with the Assassination ability slotted increases your critical damage by 10%. And you also get minus Savagery, so you're going to get more weapon critical. So that is definitely one you want to run anyway. But like again, it's on the Nightblade skill lines anyway, so you're probably going to have this slotted. The next one I'd definitely recommend is the Storm Calling from the Sorcerer's line. You're gaining magicka and stamina recovery, which was from the shadowy line, so this is really great. It doesn't boost the damage, but again, it makes up for not having the shadow line. You're going to get energized, which increases your physical and shock damage by 5%. So again, as long as you're doing physical and shock damage, you're getting that nice boost. And amplitude, which again, very, very strong for ganking. So the more health they have, the more damage done you're going to get. And generally with a ganking build, they're going to be at full health, so you're going to get the maximum 10% extra bonus damage as well. Super, super strong. And of course, the Expert Mage, if you do have a skill slotted, you can get some bonus weapon and spell damage. And another one I would recommend is the Adric Spear from the Templar line. Again, if you have a skill slotted, you're going to get 12% bonus critical damage. And when you activate an ability, this isn't used as much, but you do get Minor Berserk and Minor Protection. The Minor Berserk can be sourced from the Fighters Guild line. Burning Light passive again is quite nice, but not really for ganking. But also the Balanced Warrior is going to increase your weapon and spell damage and armor by 6%. So all these 3 class lines are definitely the best for ganking. I've had the most success with. So you are losing the cloak and invisibility. But a lot of players might be thinking, well, how on earth do we go invisible then to gank? Because obviously to gank, you do want to be cloaked or invisible or not being seen essentially, but there are definitely some ways around this. So the first one is Unnatural Movement. This is if you're at Vampire Stage 4. If you're continually sprinting, it's going to make you become invisible. So it's very, very useful for ganking, rating BGs, or to escape a situation. You can run at an enemy, but to be honest, it's more for escaping, but this is very, very nice. Next one is just to simply just craft Essence of Invisibility Potions. So this is what is listed here to make the potions. They're nice and cheap and easy to make. You can even buy them on the guild traders. it's going to make you essentially just vanish or cloak for 15 seconds. So again, you can use these to escape or to prepare for a gank. And to be honest, it works totally fine. And the other thing you can also do is just basically crouch behind the enemy. As long as you're not super close, it won't reveal you, and you've got the, you're behind them and you're not, or maybe on the side of them, definitely not on the front, as you will be revealed. So that is your options. You've got the Unnatural Movement, you've got the Invisibility Potions, and you've got crouching. And to be honest, like I said, it makes the ganking just totally fine. So in my opinion, Shadowy Disguise is no longer needed for any type of ganking, to be honest. Even in BGs where you want to be cloaking in and out, you can just use the pots and just run away with the stage 4. So to be honest, I think Shadowy Disguise might actually need a buff. It's been gutted so much. Like I said, with the release of subclassing, these skill lines are just too good to pass up. You're going to be doing extra damage, more critical damage, more weapon and spell damage than ever before on ganking with just the basic Nightblade skills and skill lines. So I definitely recommend the Assassination skill line from the Nightblade, and the Sorcerer one for the Stormcalling, and the Templar for the Adric Spear. These three are going to give you the biggest damage and the biggest bang for your buck, basically. So yeah, that is my opinion. Shadowy Disguise is just basically dead in 2025. It's no longer usable at all, in my opinion. But like I said, at first I was a bit skeptical, and I thought I better keep it on the bar and just have 2 of these lines. And you can if you want as well. There's nothing to stop you running just say the Assassination and the Sorcerer and the Shadow line, or just mixing and matching these ones. But like I said, for full damage, I would just go all 3. You'll be good to go, and you'll be hitting harder than ever before. So that is the end of Shadowy Disguise, unless they change it or make some bonuses. Like I said, there is a 10% damage bonus to monsters. If this was to players, then again it would become more viable, but it's just too draining on the Magicka, and there's just far better options. So that is my opinion, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, guys, and drop the video a like, and I'll see you in the next one.